Hey everybody, it's Christina. I know it's been a while since I've gave you all an update. I wanted to make a video today to talk about my 1 year anniversary in physical therapy. So my 1 year anniversary is coming up on November 19th, and I know that it's still October, but I just wanted to reflect on the whole process of physical therapy because I've been thinking about it a lot as I've been looking at some of the progress I've made. I started out in physical therapy a year ago with super duper duper tight ankles, and I wasn't fitting into my leg braces properly. I had thought when all of my issues started that my braces just weren't fitting right because of all the walking that I was doing at that point in time. So I thought that getting new braces would solve the problem. And I found out soon after that the braces, in fact, weren't the problem. I was the problem, and my ankles were tight, my hamstrings were tight, my back muscles were tight. I was really hunched over. I had been doing so much activity, and I just attributed all the problems that I was having to the walking I was doing and just kept ignoring it basically until it got to a point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. So I went to get braces, and my braces guy, Darren, love him to death. I can always trust him to be honest with me, and he says, Christina, I know this isn't what you want to hear, but I think we've got to get you in for some physical therapy or at least a home exercise program. Like, we've got to loosen up these ankles, or you're not going to fit into your new braces either. You're going to have the same problems that you have with your current ones. And that was a really, really tough thing for me to hear at that time. It really was a wake up call, and I was really frustrated with the thought of having to return to physical therapy. Yes, there have been some discouraging things that have happened. Yes, it's frustrating. Sometimes I don't want to do my exercises, but I do them anyway because I'm finally starting to see the progress, visibly notice the differences, and noticing, how easy different day-to-day things are. So even though I started the process rather reluctantly, I can honestly say that I'm proud of the progress that I've made, and I'm just so blessed to have had this experience for the last year. 2020 for a lot of people has been interesting. I can't say it hasn't been interesting for me, but it's been full of so much progress, and I'm so, so blessed. Right now, what I'm working on in physical therapy, I'm still working on loosening up my ankles, but they're a lot better. I was at like a negative 20 on one and a negative 25 degrees on the other, and now I'm like 5 to 10 degrees in the negatives, which is pretty good. Like, it's a normal person's ankle flexes a little bit more, but it's so much better than what it was. And so anytime I get frustrated with my progress, I try to, think back to where I started and compare from there. My back's been giving me some issues lately because my posture is so much better. We're finding that my back muscles are actually very weak because my back has never had to support me in the way that it is right now. So that's been sort of a frustrating obstacle lately, and I've really had to learn to be patient with all of that and just taking it easy when my body needs to, even if I don't want to take it easy. I'm really learning that I have to do that, or I'll end up hurting myself. With my knee injury that I had, that was just from walking too much, and that's been a lot better lately since I started doing some cross training. So I walk about 4 days a week. And then, like, on my in-between days, sometimes I'll do a rest day. Sometimes it's some yoga. And a lot of times it's biking on my stationary bike. That cross-training has allowed me to keep going. And I'm not irritating my knee like I did back in August. I went back to work after teaching from home since March. I went back to work in a knee support because my knee had been so overstressed and was just swollen and agitated because I was walking too much. So one of the other things that I've learned from physical therapy, besides, just being proud of my progress, is really just listening to my body and knowing that it's okay to stop and that I need to stop when my body tells me, Christina, stop. Like, I can't ignore my body anymore. I ignored my body for so long, and that's what landed me in physical therapy in the first place. So, you really have to listen to your body and what it needs, do what it needs, and don't be ashamed of it. That's another thing that I've learned on this journey in physical therapy. And what I will say, what's really helped me lately with the back pain and everything else has been just seeing the progress. I feel like it's a year later and I'm finally realizing how far I've come just because I've taken some photographs of that. I'm always kind of a picture nut and I take lots of pictures. I'm on Facebook all the time, maybe too much of the time. But I'm also really, really thankful that I've taken the pictures that I have because it allows me to see that progress on the good days and make myself feel even better. And, on the bad days, I can look at that progress too and go, wow, I might not think I'm getting anywhere, but I am. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and add some pictures in here to just show you the progress that I've made with my posture. You can literally see the posture progression from March to May to now. And, even my physical therapist said, wow, that's a lot of progress from May to now. It's a smaller amount of progress than from the beginning, but you can totally see a difference. And seeing that progress has been really reassuring to me lately with some of the frustrating obstacles that have come up. I was especially surprised by this particular photo because this is, on the left is a photo from last October, which would have been around a month before I started physical therapy. Same outfit, relatively, camera same distance away from me. You can see how much taller I'm standing there, and I literally look like I'm 3 inches taller, and I really didn't realize just how much I've improved until I saw those two side by side. So that was just a really nice validation for me that even though my back is hurting from not always standing up as straight as I am, and even though I have frustrating days, that I am making progress and it is working the way that it should. In addition to learning to listen to my body during physical therapy and, being thankful that I took all of those pictures, one of the other things that I want to say as well is that anytime you're in physical therapy, being patient is hard, but it's important. I know that was one of my pieces of advice in my very first YouTube video about advice for someone starting physical therapy, and it's still very, very valid. It's hard to be patient. It really is. I totally relate to wanting something right now, wanting it to be better right now. But when we have that patience with ourselves and give ourselves that grace to have a bad day and, start over the next day fresh, it makes it so much more rewarding when we get to whatever it is that we're working towards, whatever goal we had. And then suddenly all of those difficulties and all those frustrating times don't seem so bad. So just remember to be patient. Be patient with yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. And keep going because in the end, it will be worth it. And if you're starting physical therapy right now and you're not super sure if it's going to be helpful, well, I can honestly say that I have photographic proof that it works. One of the other things I wanted to mention too, since it's still actually October right now and it's physical therapy appreciation month, is that the relationship you have with your physical therapist is a really important part of success in physical therapy too. You want to trust them and you want to be able to ask them those questions. You want to be able to tell them what's going on because that's what's going to make your progress just that much better. So if you're ever in a situation where you feel like you're not getting what you need out of physical therapy, you need to let your physical therapist know, because when I was a kid, I had a physical therapy experience for a year or so that wasn't good. I wasn't getting what I needed out of my physical therapy. It was honestly too easy. and it didn't set me up for success. So just communicate with your physical therapist, because they're your number one supporter in physical therapy. They're the one there with you every session, making those steps that to everyone else seem little, but to you they're huge. So say thanks to a physical therapist, and make sure that you're communicating with them everything that you need, questions that you have. Let them know, and be thankful for them. I know I'm thankful for mine. I've been very lucky in my life to have not had that many physical therapists, which just means I get to be closer with them than most, and they've seen me go through a lot of different phases in life. And it's just such a special relationship. Even those that were my physical therapists as a kid and are not now, I still feel like I can go to them with my CP related problems. And that in itself is really a blessing. I feel like once I've had a physical therapist, they're not just my physical therapist for that time. They really are, a supporter to me for life. And I'm so thankful. I'm also just always blown away by the amount of knowledge they have about just anything and everything. And I feel like there's no question that I can't ask them that they don't that they can't explain in a way that makes sense. Like, they are so smart, yet they can dumb it down to my level and help me understand. And that's another thing I will say about my physical therapist too, is that they're great about answering my questions when I do have them. So my next step on my physical therapy journey is actually going to the doctor to get a prescription, a new prescription, because I've been in physical therapy for a year. So I guess it's probably just procedure that she wants to see me, see how things are going, and write me a new prescription. And I certainly hope that she writes me a new prescription. If she doesn't want to, I have several reasons why I can tell her that I think I need to still be in physical therapy. But I am proud of the progress that I've made. I saw a quote the other day that really resonated with me. It said, to not wait till you've gotten to that goal to be proud of the progress you've made. That it says that you need to be proud of every step that you take towards your goals. And I just think that's so fitting for physical therapy, because there are times where you feel like you're not really getting anywhere. But know that every day that you wake up and you're doing your exercises, every physical therapy session that you're going to, you're taking steps in the right direction. So just don't forget to believe in yourself and believe in the process, and know that if you're having a tough time, it will get easier. Don't forget to have patience with yourself, communicate what you need, try to stay positive, and just do the best you can. And take some pictures if you get a chance. I know I'm really thankful that I've taken pictures throughout my journey, because it's helped me to see the progress during points that I wouldn't have necessarily been able to realize that I was making progress in some aspects. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope that you've enjoyed this 1-year physical therapy update. I just want to say thanks again to my physical therapist. Whether you're a current physical therapist of mine or a past physical therapist of mine, you guys are rock stars, and I'm so thankful for this last year of struggles and triumphs, because I am a much happier person now than I was a year ago. I'm just really pleased with where I am, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here.